don't know if I'm actually live because I don't have the stream open.
Yeah, you are.
Oh no! Okay. Alright. So I don't know if we should do anything special before I start the run, or if I just get right into it.
Just go right into it, I'd say.
Fantastic. Alright. This is Castlevania on the NES. It's a very short run. There's a lot of technical details behind the run. I will try my best to explain all of those as I go through this run. So, first stage here, I am looking for this stopwatch drop, which I did not get, unfortunate. And why I'm looking for that is so I can do a bat boost that's coming up about 3.5 seconds faster. Because I didn't get it, I have other opportunities, like right here. Didn't get it. Not a big deal. Getting hit on those stairs is actually slightly faster than just killing that enemy, so it's not a big deal. So now I just have to do this bat boost normal. I can stop here and get a stopwatch. That'll save a couple frames in the next stage. It's not really that big of a deal, but yeah. That's a bat boost. It's a lot easier than it might look. Going into this next screen here, though, all I'm looking to do is walk off this platform, and that's actually setting it up so that when I start this boss fight, I start it on a certain frame that gives me the fastest pattern here. So that I can then do that, which is a critical hit. And I activated the stopwatch after that so that I have 0 hearts at the end of the stage, because when you do that, the game doesn't have to count down hearts, which saves frames, of course. So, this is stage 2, or level 2, whatever you want to call it. Not a lot going on here. I'm just trying to get these hearts so that I can walk through these crushers with my stopwatch. It's coming up. Saves maybe like 1/4 of a second. This is probably the hardest stage to actually save time on, because it's just so very consistent. So here I whip buffer, and that's so that I can set up this damage boost slightly faster. So these crushers coming up, if I didn't have the stopwatch, I would have to do a whip buffer. But because I have the stopwatch and I have enough hearts to activate it, I can just jump under them, grab my holy water, and then yeah. Holy water, of course, is the most overpowered sub-weapon in the game, and it's what we rely on for the most part. So, coming up's the Medusa fight, and you're going to learn exactly why the holy water is so good. Normally, the game requires you to kind of learn Medusa's pattern to not get hit and all that, but you don't need to do all that when you know the tricks. So, unlike Stage 2, Stage 3 is extremely scary. So I was trying to whip that Flea Man back there so I could do a slightly faster Flea Man boost here, but it's kind of a tight window. I didn't get it. It's not a big deal. So this screen, there are birds that control you, and that one trolled me. It's not a big deal, but this ghost is becoming a big deal. Alright. So we switch off holy water for the axe, because the axe it makes it easier for us to get the cross that's coming up. And the cross is used in a glitch against the mummy bosses, and where you can deal infinite damage. So it's pretty good. So I got a troll skeleton there. Normally you would just take the hit, but I'm kind of already half health, so I'm not going to do that. Not what I wanted to see happen. Okay. Not a big deal. So what I was looking for on that screen is I was looking for a potion drop. And the reason I'm looking for the potion drop is because that allows me to do that screen very easy and free. Now I'm trying to get the cross the absolute hardest way, and it's not working out. Okay. So let's try again. So how you get this potion drop is it is frame specific. And I still didn't get it. Not a problem. Oh, there's a potion drop. Great. I have a lot of hearts. That caused me to get the long whip, which is actually really bad. We don't want the long whip until after a damage boost in stage 4, but it's not that big of a deal. So what I'm doing on this screen might look slow, but everything's going wrong. So never mind. The setup that I have for the mummy patterns has been tossed out the window. So now we're doing a backup strat where we get the meat, stand under here, and hope I get a decent pattern. Which I did. Great. Infinite damage is pretty good. But as you can see there, the mummies, they just die in one hit, essentially. We try to get the double and 2 hearts so that we have a better chance of landing that infinite damage. The long whip you'll see is bad coming up here in a moment. So normally I would triple whip buffer there to set up this damage boost. But because I have the long whip, I end up killing those enemies. Now there is a way to do that boost, which I didn't activate the stopwatch in the frame I needed to. Not a big deal, it just means I have to do this underground section instead of doing the instead of just doing the regular damage boost. So you're probably wondering why I stopped there. So this screen will give you the same pattern every time. And you can actually read a donation now that I think about it. I'll just explain the screen later.
Okay. A great way to support ESA directly is with cheers. Don't forget you can combine cheers with subs to level up those hype trains. Let's get one started. I mean, nobody would expect a hype train at this time of night, so I want to see one. Can you help me?
Send in those bits, get that hype train rolling. So that screen, basically what happened was you get the same pattern of the Fleamans every time if you just hold right the entire time. The potion drop that I got at the worst possible spot made it so that when I enter that screen, the potion's technically an invisibility potion, so the enemy AI won't actually see Simon, and that makes the pattern go weird. So I just sat there and waited to enter that screen. It's like the worst possible situation you could be in. Also on that screen there's an axe drop, which I didn't get, which is good, because that's extremely slow. But I didn't get it, so we're all good. And yeah, as you saw, Frankenstein is much like Medusa in that you just kill it with holy water. So this is one of the... This is actually one of the easier stages. This used to be... Or let me rephrase it. This used to be one of the easier stages. At the highest level now, this is actually one of the scarier stages. Just because there's a lot of little time saves. I'm mostly going for the safe stuff, because this run's already enough of a disaster as is. But, just like on Stage 4 and Stage 2, we want the holy water, because you'll see just how overpowered that is a little bit later into the stage here. And of course using damage boost to exploit iframes there to just walk past enemies that are normally very difficult to deal with. Though if you've played this game as long as I have, These guys aren't. They ain't so tough. They've got a reputation, but it's a lie. So as you can see here, Holy Water, it just one-shots them. If you didn't have Holy Water, it would be 9 hits to kill them, which is kind of tough, but they have a very fixed pattern in terms of when they throw their axes, and if you know that, then it's really not a big deal. So there is a strat that saves frames in which you skip getting the meat earlier on, and you actually do a Holy Water toss at that bone pillar that I just damage boosted through. However, the window to do that Holy Water toss is very narrow, so it's just too risky and doesn't save enough time, so... Because dying on this stage is actually very run-ending. So, as you can see, Death, much like Medusa and Frank, he just used the Holy Water. Death actually is a really good boss, which is why you should not speedrun this game. Because then you can't enjoy how great of a boss this is. Alright, coming up in the last stage, this screen right here, I'm trying to hold left as much as possible and jump in specific spots to give me the exact same bat pattern every time. If you do it exactly as I'm doing it right now, these bats will never mess with you. So here, hopefully I don't get a troll boost. Okay, we're good. Same thing here, we want fast boost. Okay. That was decent. No troll bone, get big heart. So there is a strategy there where that flea man spawn could be different and would require us not to activate a stopwatch, which would save us hearts. But yeah, didn't exactly work out that way. So we had to activate. Coming up is Death, depending on which pattern Dracula, depending on which pattern he gives me, determines how I approach this fight. I'm either going for a 2-cycle kill or a 3-cycle kill. Okay, I'm going to go for the 2-cycle, which I have already failed. Horribly. Okay, not a problem. You're going to see this fight done the way a regular gamer would, which is just knowing where he's going to spawn, knowing his timing on his fireball throws. There is this glitch in this game called crits, in which you deal extra damage. It involves getting hit on the same frame that you deal damage to them. You saw me do it to the bat. And coming up with time, and time. I'm going to guess at least around 13 minutes. Man didn't tell me to start the timer. I don't know. Well, it was under 15 minutes. I know that for a fact.
Well, the time on the stream says 12:55.
Yep, sounds about right. Considering the run had deaths in it, that's fine.
I think the timer was started a bit late, but yeah, it's around 13 minutes.
Right on.
So, thank you very much, KomradeKontroll.
No problem.
Do you have any words that you want to share with us? Any shoutouts?
Yeah, I would recommend sticking around for the Castlevania 2 speedrun. That's going to be a nightmare for Freeland. I hope he can manage. It's a very RNG-heavy run. Yeah, stick around for that, because that's very cool. Also, make sure you cheer, donate, bits, sub, all that. And, yeah, I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, and you've already said what's coming next. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest by Freeland 1787.
Absolutely.
So if you want to see that, stick around through this short intermission.